we reported yesterday, ABC's George Stephanopoulos defended the questions in Wednesday's Democratic debate, saying all they did was throw at Democrats what the right eventually will. In our third story tonight, Sunday, Mr. Stephanopoulos will interview Senator John McCain, raising the question, is he now obligated to throw at McCain what the left eventually will? Of course, some on the left forswear such partisan side issues. An aide to then Governor Clinton claiming during the 1992 campaign that Americans care about more important things.
What he's going to do in this campaign is focus on what's important to the American people, on the jobs and the education. That's what the American people care about. They want to move into the future. They don't want to be diverted by side issues.
Still, since 2008, Stephanopoulos felt it appropriate to ask questions on behalf of Sean Hannity this week. We want to lend him a hand with his McCain interview. So, George, if you want to test Senator McCain's response to hostile distractions, you can pretend he's a Democrat and ask any of these questions. Taking notes? 1. In your book, Senator, you mentioned visiting burlesque houses, and you say that in Rio you indulged in, quote, the vices sailors are infamous for. Exactly how many times have you employed prostitutes? Or were you just referring to public drunkenness? 2, on your association with shady characters. As a member of the Keating Five, you helped delay regulators from going after a savings and loan that ripped off elderly investors of their life savings and cost taxpayers more than $2 billion. Senator, why do you hate the elderly and taxpayers? 3, your continuing association with radicals from the 1970s, a man who tried to destroy the two-party electoral system and subvert democracy, and who to this day remains utterly unapologetic, saying only that he wishes he'd done more of it and better. As recently as November 8th of 2007, you had a public conversation with this man, G. Gordon Liddy, not merely a criminal, but an unrepentant enemy of the Constitution, who is now in radio. Senator, why do you hate the Constitution? 4, after first calling Jerry Falwell an agent of intolerance, you took that back and began praising that man, despite the fact that he blamed America for 9/11. Why in 6 years have you not repudiated Mr. Falwell's damning of this country? Why do you still symbolically share the same pew with him? 5, you proudly accepted the endorsement of Pastor John Hagee, who wants the U.S. to start a nuclear war as part of the apocalypse, who called Catholicism the great whore, and who said Katrina was God's punishment of New Orleans for holding, quote, a homosexual parade. Senator McCain, does Pastor Hagee love Catholics, Muslims, New Orleans, gay people, parades, and life on earth as we know it as much as you do? 6, Senator, why did you commit adultery? No, not that lobbyist stuff. I mean with your wife back in the 70s while you were still married to the first wife. 7, last year you admitted lying to voters when you said South Carolina's Confederate flag was strictly a state issue when you knew it wasn't, when you knew it was offensive to many Americans, presumably those who wanted America to win the Civil War. Why, sir, did you lie to protect a racist symbol of terrorists who wanted to destroy this country when you could have not? 8, finally, sir, a lot of Americans judge their politicians entirely by simple symbols. Flag lapel pins, where your hands are during the Pledge of Allegiance. Wouldn't you agree, Senator McCain, that perhaps the most potent symbol of loving America is whether or not you chose to be born in America? Senator McCain, why did you choose to be born in Panama? How can voters be sure that this kind of elitism doesn't mean that you will not owe your allegiance to Panama and the Panamanian way?